Chosen one, a shift has begun, and its timing is not coincidental. If you are encountering this message now, understand that it is not by accident or mere coincidence. You are being called into a unique phase and intentional spiritual suspension, designed for your renewal, realignment, and ultimate breakthrough. This process has a name: divine incubation. It is not sleep, not burnout, and certainly not weakness. It is sacred stillness, a state where your body may appear inactive, yet your spirit is undergoing an intensive transformation. Spiritual incubation is a deliberate act initiated by higher forces. It removes you from the noise, the distractions, and the endless tasks that keep you tethered to the surface of life. In this phase, you are not simply resting. You are being divinely preserved, spiritually recalibrated, and emotionally detoxed. Many chosen ones experience this moment as a sudden lack of energy, a pull away from routines, and an inner knowing that something bigger is unfolding. It may feel like your daily momentum has paused, or that you're drifting away from your usual responsibilities. This is not regression. It is preparation. You are being removed temporarily from the timeline of stress and productivity, not to punish you, but to protect and prepare you. Just as seeds grow in darkness before they ever sprout above ground, you too are entering a hidden chamber where growth cannot be seen, but is deeply occurring. To the untrained eye, stillness looks like doing nothing. But in the spiritual realm, stillness is one of the highest forms of obedience. It allows divine intelligence to operate without interference. In this sacred silence, spiritual surgery takes place, cleansing trauma, rewriting internal codes, and repairing damage that conscious effort could not heal. It is a mistake to judge this season by physical results. If you expect visible productivity or measurable outcomes, you will misinterpret the purpose of this incubation. This is not the time for output. It is the time for surrender. And for the chosen one, surrender is never inactivity. It is realignment. With divine order, while you sleep, the universe is moving. While you remain still, heaven is negotiating on your behalf. While you feel paused, angels are restoring what years of striving could not accomplish. This is not idleness. It is strategic. Divine intervention. When you are placed in a spiritual lockdown, your nervous system begins to recalibrate. What previously triggered anxiety begins to lose its grip. What used to feel urgent now fades into irrelevance. Your body enters a restful state, not from exhaustion, but because your spirit demands stillness for renewal. You may notice that alarms no longer stir you, to-do lists no longer inspire urgency, and conversations feel unnecessary. This detachment is not depression. It is divine protection from overstimulation, so that your inner systems can be quietly rebuilt. This is also when the chosen one is taught to differentiate between productivity and purpose. In the world system, constant motion is praised. In the spiritual dimension, strategic withdrawal is often the foundation of power. During incubation, your identity begins to shift. Patterns that once defined your behavior, overthinking, self-doubt, survival responses, are dismantled. You may feel disconnected from your previous goals or uncertain about the things that once drove you. That is expected. The internal script is being rewritten. This means your reflexes are being changed. You will no longer default to fear when uncertainty arises. You will not rely on external validation to define your worth. This incubation teaches you that value is not a product of performance, but of presence, your presence with yourself, your spirit, and your creator. Old assumptions begin to dissolve. Mental habits that no longer serve you are deleted. Emotional weights begin to lift. It is subtle, but it is effective. You are being unburdened. No one sees the process. That is intentional. God hides what He is transforming. Just like a caterpillar wraps itself in a cocoon, you too are being concealed during the most fragile phase of your transformation. This invisibility is not rejection. It is sacred protection. Chosen one. While others may continue their public pursuits, you are undergoing a private rebirth. There's no applause in this season, no performance, just quiet and sacred evolution. You may feel unseen, but that is because your development is not meant to be consumed. It is meant to be completed in stillness. This is how deep healing happens. Not in crowds, but in silence. Not with public approval, but with divine alignment. There is a physiological reality to spiritual rest. As your spirit settles, your physical body follows. Your immune system strengthens. Your hormones rebalance. Your brain chemistry begins to stabilize. Stress markers decrease. The inflammation caused by anxiety and overwork begins to recede. Spiritual. Incubation, when obeyed, initiates a chain reaction that leads to total restoration. This isn't mystical. It's measurable. Your cells are renewing because your soul is no longer under siege. Divine stillness becomes divine healing. The tiredness you feel is not from fatigue, it is from divine redirection. You are being instructed to rest because your next assignment requires energy you do not yet have. The deep sleep you may experience during this time is not laziness. It is divine anesthesia. You are being operated on by hands that do not need your permission, only your surrender. In this period of rest, things begin to align without your direct involvement. Doors open without effort. Resources appear without labor. Relationships shift without manipulation. You are learning the difference between working for provision and receiving through alignment. Provision begins to operate on the basis of favor rather than hustle. You realize that God can supply even while you sleep. This redefines success, not as something you chase, but something you align with. While you are in this incubation, you are being taught that abundance is not created through exhaustion, but through spiritual positioning. This is how the chosen one begins to move differently in the world. Not with desperate striving, but with calm authority. As the incubation continues, emotional systems are also being rewired. All pain that you have carried silently begins to be removed without your effort. It doesn't require discussion or resolution. It simply dissolves because it no longer matches your new frequency. Relationships that were held together by obligation may fall away. Bonds that were draining or manipulative may be broken. You are not being isolated. You are being set apart. People who couldn't understand your calling are being moved aside. Conversations that once drained you are no longer required. These are not losses. They are necessary clearings. God is not removing people to harm you, but to protect what He is building in you. When you return from this incubation, you will not need to explain yourself. Your energy will speak louder than your words. Your presence will carry clarity. The chosen one is not always recognized by what they say, but by the peace they embody. Time begins to shift during this phase. Minutes feel like hours and days blend together. This temporal distortion is not confusion. It is divine timing taking precedence over earthly schedules. You are stepping out of man's calendar and into God's. You begin to understand that life is not a linear race. It is a spiritual journey, with intervals of acceleration and intentional pauses. You are no longer behind. You are simply on a different timeline, one not measured by clocks, but by calling. Asterisk. God is not rushed. And now, neither are you. As you disconnect from the race around you, you become connected to the rhythm within you. That rhythm is peace, not panic. Alignment, not achievement. This sacred pause will not last forever. It is a seasonal stillness designed to transition you into a higher capacity. You are being emptied now. so that you can carry something greater later, but do not be tempted to rush your return. Premature emergence can damage the very healing you are undergoing. When it is time to re-engage with the world, you will know not by anxiety, but by clarity. And when you return, you will walk with calmness, speak with confidence, and carry a renewed spirit. You will no longer need to prove your worth. Your peace will be proof enough. Chosen one, you are not retreating. You are being refined. This is only the beginning. As the divine stillness deepens. Chosen one, the process of incubation transitions from preparation to transformation. What appears to be inactivity is actually strategic redirection. Heaven is not simply pausing your outer motion. It is calibrating your inner alignment. This phase is less about what you do and more about who you are becoming. In the natural world, incubation is the process through which growth happens in silence. A seed planted in soil doesn't make noise as it takes root. A child forming in the womb does not shout as it develops. So too, this sacred shutdown you are experiencing is not a sign of delay but of divine timing at work. The absence of visible progress is not proof of stagnation but evidence of hidden preparation. You are being taken out of sync with the urgency of the world and placed into rhythm with the eternal pace of the Creator. While the world races, posts, and competes for visibility, you are being shielded in a quiet chamber of reformation. It may feel like isolation, but it is actually insulation, protection from voices and vibrations that would have distorted your direction. This shift isn't about exhaustion or burnout. It is about divine recalibration. You are not merely tired. Your system is being realigned to carry a new assignment. Heaven is teaching you a different kind of strength, one that doesn't come from striving but from surrender. The wisdom being poured into you during this sacred silence is not available in public discourse. It comes through inner quiet. In this stillness, you will begin to notice a reset in your mental and emotional patterns. Where you once defaulted to anxiety or urgency, you will now feel a grounded calm. Emotional reflexes that once pulled you into fear or people-pleasing are being rewritten. This isn't psychological, it's spiritual. Your nervous system is being regulated by divine order. Your spiritual metabolism is being retuned for sustained peace, not performance. Many have come to believe that progress must be loud and visible. But in the economy of heaven, progress is often silent and slow. You may not see it yet. The restoration is underway. There are fractures in your identity that are being sealed. There are wounds that went unnoticed because you became too accustomed to functioning while broken. This divine stillness is heaven's response to those injuries, not with punishment, but with permission to heal. Chosen one, you are not forgotten. You are not falling behind. You are being hidden for healing. God often removes his most valuable vessels from public view, not to punish them, but to prepare them. This spiritual suspension is not indefinite. It is timed to perfection. And when you are released from this sacred chamber, you will not return as you were. You will carry clarity, authority, and purpose that has been refined in silence. Your relationships will shift. Some connections will not continue past this transition, and that's by design. You've outgrown environments that once sustained you. This isn't about disloyalty, it's about alignment. You are being repositioned to attract people and opportunities that match the version of you being formed in this season. Let go of the need to explain your stillness. The fruit of this incubation will speak for itself. In this period, the divine is also addressing areas that once went untouched by prayer or therapy. Subconscious patterns, generational fears, ancestral limitations, all are being brought into the light for recalibration. The healing happening here is cellular, neurological, emotional, and spiritual. You are not being fine-tuned. You are being remade, not just restored to an earlier version of yourself, but elevated to a new level of identity and insight. And yes, while you rest, heaven moves. Things are being rearranged in your absence that no effort on your part could have accomplished. Doors that remained closed despite your striving are now being unlocked. Conversations you stopped trying to initiate are now being sparked divinely. You're not witnessing this in real time because this isn't your battle to fight. It's heaven's assignment to complete. Chosen one, you are not being lazy. You are in lockdown for legacy. In this time, the value of your stillness exceeds the output of your productivity. Grace is doing the heavy lifting. The energy you once spent on chasing approval is now redirected towards spiritual renewal. The strength you once invested in survival is being rechanneled into vision. Even your physical body may feel unfamiliar during this shift. Sleeping patterns may change. Your hunger for entertainment or distraction may fade. And you may notice a lack of desire for conversations or crowds. This is not depression. It is consecration. You are being stripped of external stimuli so that you can hear internal instructions. This clarity cannot be accessed in noise. It is available only in silence. The environment around you may not understand this change. Some may interpret your absence as retreat, your quiet as weakness. But those are the assumptions of those who do not recognize sacred recalibration. You are not running from life. You are resting into it. And in this rest, you are being handed keys that will unlock the next season of your purpose. This is also a season of divine disconnection. Not all relationships can carry the weight of where you are going. Some will fall away. Others will evolve. Allow that to happen. Don't chase what's leaving. Don't beg for understanding. The shift you are experiencing is personal, and it is perfectly timed. What looks like loss is actually alignment. God is removing access to you because your access to Him is being expanded. The changes happening to your mind, your spirit, and even your preferences are not random. You are entering a higher spiritual frequency. Old appetites will die. Old distractions will lose their grip. And yes, old goals may even dissolve, not because you failed to achieve them, but because they no longer reflect your divine assignment. What you are moving toward is not just bigger, it is holier. Chosen one, your obedience to this sacred pause is your greatest act of trust. While the world equates worth with noise and motion, you are learning the true language of heaven: silence, surrender, and stillness. You are moving from the pace of survival to the rhythm of sonship, not because you forced your way forward, but because you followed the still voice within. This divine shutdown is not the end of your momentum. It is the birth of mastery. You are not being silenced. You are being seated. And when your voice returns, it will carry more authority than ever. Your presence will enter rooms before you speak. Your spirit will shift atmospheres without a sound. That is the fruit of divine stillness, transformation that speaks without noise. So stay in the stillness until the transformation is complete. Don't resist the sleep. Don't fight the pause. Don't fear the silence. This is heaven's design. You are not late. You are not lacking. You are in alignment. And when the moment comes, and it will, when God releases you from this sacred lockdown, it will be clear that something unexplainable has happened. You will not return empty. You will return expanded. Your timeline is being governed not by urgency, but by eternity. Your life is no longer operating on borrowed energy, but on divine empowerment. Chosen one, you have not disappeared. You are simply under divine construction. And what emerges next will carry the unmistakable fingerprint of heaven. Quiet, strong, certain, and transformed. Chosen one, as you rise from the sacred stillness you were called into, understand this. Your return will not be marked by noise, urgency, or grand announcements. It will be marked by quiet strength, internal clarity, and the weight of divine authority that you now carry without having to prove anything. What took place in the silence was not merely rest. It was redefinition. You did not sleep, you were sealed. Not with fear, but with purpose. Not with shame, but with a new identity aligned to your highest frequency. And now, as you prepare to re-enter the world, the atmosphere around you will feel different. The reason is simple. You are different. You will move through old spaces with new posture. You will approach familiar challenges with unfamiliar confidence. What once triggered you will no longer touch you. What once drained you will now seem irrelevant. This is not arrogance. This is transformation. Your spirit, having passed through divine incubation, now carries the code of renewal. You're no longer operating under the weight of past programming, reactive thought loops, inherited beliefs, unconscious survival tactics. They've all been overridden. And while your external surroundings may not yet reflect the depth of your inner change, your energy will begin to manifest differently. Without force, your reality will follow. You may be tempted to return quickly to explain, to catch up, to make others comfortable with your transformation. Resist that urge. Transformation doesn't ask for validation. It simply demonstrates itself in silence. Your emergence will not be for applause. It will be for assignment. You were taken off the battlefield, not because you lost, but because your strategy had to be refined. Now, you return not as a soldier, but as a commander. Not as one seeking direction, but as one entrusted with it. This final part of your incubation holds something critical. The integration of everything you've received. It's no longer about learning. It's about embodying. Your walk, your voice, your presence, each will now reflect alignment. This doesn't mean perfection. It means peace. You're no longer led by urgency. You're guided by knowing. This knowing is not loud. It does not always explain itself. It does not need external confirmation. It comes from within, from the space that was cleaned, cleared, and recalibrated during your divine rest. And what about the world you return? Theo, it may look unchanged, but your vision will be renewed. You'll see what others miss. You'll sense shifts before they become visible. You'll move before others understand why. This is the gift of the chosen one, to act not based on trends, but on truth. You may no longer tolerate the environments you once settled in. What once felt like home may now feel restrictive. That is not a loss, that is growth. Your spirit is drawing you toward greater alignment, not because the past was wrong, but because your present is now governed by a higher frequency. Chosen. 1. You will notice people responding differently to you. Some will be drawn to your stillness. Others may feel unsettled by your peace. Not everyone will recognize who you are now, and not all will remain. Let them go. Let the new configuration of your relationships reflect your renewed identity. Those aligned with your next season will find you not through marketing, but through resonance. And as for your mission, the assignment that awaits you, know this: you are ready, not because of what you've achieved, but because of who you've become. The divine didn't call you to rest to keep you hidden. It called you to rest so you can emerge equipped. Your decisions now won't be driven by fear. They'll be informed by discernment. You'll recognize distractions quickly. You'll sense the weight of timing. You'll feel the sacred pause before action, and you'll trust it. You'll no longer rush because others are running. You'll no longer shrink to make others comfortable. You will move with divine rhythm. This emergence is not just personal. It's generational. You are breaking cycles silently. You are elevating bloodlines without announcement. Your transformation is an altar, and those who experience you from this moment forward are standing on holy ground. Do not worry about who understands this process. Most won't. It wasn't for them. It was for you. What was activated in you is ancient. It is encoded into the divine matrix of your being. It does not require translation. It requires living. You now walk with the authority of one who has touched silence and returned with revelation. You carry peace like armor. You wield truth like light. And above all, you move in love, not the kind that appeases everyone, but the kind that aligns with everything sacred. The new you is not seeking to explain. It is here to demonstrate. Your boundaries will speak louder than your past. Your clarity will do more than your history ever could. Your stillness now commands more than your previous striving. You've become unshakable, not because you have all the answers, but because you've surrendered the illusion that you need them. You trust divine timing. You trust inner wisdom. You trust your calling, even when it contradicts convention. This final season, Chosen One, is about integration and emergence. You will begin to walk with full embodiment of the energy you once only glimpsed. And as you do, the world will respond. Not all will applaud. Some will question. Others will resist. But none of that changes the truth. You have returned from the sacred chamber, and you are carrying the mark of divine reversal. The things that used to consume your time proving, explaining, chasing are no longer on your agenda. Your days are now filled with presence. Your attention is now selective. Your time is now holy. You are no longer spending energy, you are investing it. And where you invest, you will see growth, not just in outcomes, but in legacy. What you touch now will multiply, not because of luck, but because of alignment. Not because of visibility, but because of divine favor. People will ask you how you changed. They'll ask what you did. But the truth is, you didn't do it, was done to you. Through grace, through silence, through surrender. You are no longer a seeker. You are a signal. You are no longer in training. You are in transmission. And your very existence will now serve as evidence that spiritual restoration is not a theory, it is a reality. Chosen One, you are ready. Your stillness was never wasted. Your silence was never empty. And your rest was never weakness. It was all part of the divine equation. Now, walk forward, not with haste, but with harmony. Not with doubt, but with certainty. You are not just restored. You are realigned. You are not just healed. You are whole. And the world, whether it knows it yet or not, is better because you chose to be still long enough to become who you were always meant to be. Chosen One, if this message reached your spirit, it wasn't by accident. It was divine timing. You didn't stumble. Here, you were guided. And that guidance is calling you not just to listen, but to respond. This is not the end of your journey. It's a powerful new beginning. Everything you've just heard wasn't meant to simply comfort you. It was meant to activate you, to bring you into awareness of the sacred process unfolding in your life, to remind you that your rest is part of your rebirth. Your silence is part of your strength, and your spiritual stillness is the foundation of your divine emergence. Now, as you carry these revelations with you, we invite you to take one simple but intentional step forward. Reflect. Breathe. Listen. Ask yourself honestly, where am I in this journey? Am I in divine incubation? Am I resisting the stillness? Or am I ready to rise from it? Wherever you are, trust it. Honor it. Don't rush to catch up. You are not behind. You are not lost. You are in alignment with something much greater than any timeline the world can impose on you. If this message gave you clarity, strength, or simply reminded you that you're not alone, let it be the beginning of a deeper connection. Share this with someone who may need the same reassurance. Someone who's being pulled into stillness and doesn't yet understand why. Someone who's been mistaking divine incubation for depression, or who's been fighting against a very rest that was sent to heal them. And if you're ready to walk this journey with more intention, subscribe to this channel. Here, we explore what it means to be chosen, awakened, and aligned with divine purpose. We share insights that aren't just informational, they're transformational. We create space for silence, truth, and restoration to be honored in a noisy world. Comment below where you are in your journey. Whether you're just entering rest in the depths of transformation or emerging with renewed clarity, we want to hear from you. Your story could be the light someone else needs today. And remember, growth doesn't always look like action. Power doesn't always speak loudly. The greatest transformation often happens in the stillness, when no one is watching, and only heaven is listening. So breathe. Be still, and trust that everything unfolding in your life right now is not falling apart. It's falling into divine order. You are chosen. You are protected. You are being prepared. And when the time is right, you will rise, not with force, but with grace. Thank you for being here. Until next time, remain grounded, remain aligned, and above all, remain faithful to the process. If this message resonated with your spirit and you feel the alignment deep within, take a moment to subscribe. Join a growing community of awakened and chosen souls who are walking through divine transformation, one moment of clarity at a time.